Hello! Sorry for rotating the camera around a bit. You're watching the Tesla trip test of a live stream using Wirecast Go. So this is on the mobile app for Wirecast, which is kind of cool. It allows for live streaming. It's going over the LTE network. I guess I could connect to the Tesla Wi-Fi network. Anyways, I'm at the Tesla Supercharger in Salt Lake City. So I'm almost done. I'll show you right here. So I've got about 100 miles of charge on my Tesla, 99, and it's getting towards the top end of the battery, 259 miles. It's slowing down to just 23 amps, so that's at a rate of 113 miles an hour of charge. Saying I got about 15 minutes left to be completely full. Really, I would only need this to get to the very top if I'm trying to make it back to my house in Wyoming, because this is the closest supercharger on this trip. So my house is about 310 miles away or so, and it's uphill and downhill and uphill and downhill and tons of wind and super high speeds, like 80 mile an hour speed limit, and the range is estimated at 65 miles per hour flat roads, so no wind. I've never made it all the way from here home without having to stop and charge in an RV park. I'd like to try it someday. I'd have to drive really slow, turn off the AC, take the back roads as much as possible. I can make it to Evans. If I can fully charge in Evanston, I can make it home. But even then, I have to go pretty slow and use minimal air conditioning. So this is the Tesla store. And it's a live stream, so go ahead and comment and chat. I can see and I can respond, which is kind of cool. One thing I noticed that's kind of neat is they labeled the supercharger here. They said it's on the same circuit as 1A. So that's 1A over there. It says it's on the same circuit as 1B. So if you go over here and everybody's charging all at the same time, it's best to pick, every other supercharger so you're not sharing the same circuit. But the cool thing is, like right now, if somebody came and pulled up and plugged into 1A, they'd still get the full rate because I'm at the top end of mine because I've been here longer, so it's not using up all the amps anyways. So it actually works out just fine as long as you kind of obey that rule of don't park next to somebody if you don't have to. If you can park one station over, then you'll be fine. And then whoever the last person is that comes in, and they park, hopefully they'll park by the person there that's been there the longest. They'll be able to charge, both of them will be able to charge at the maximum rate possible for where they're at the charge state of their battery. Quick little review of this area is there's not a lot of options to do anything. During the weekdays you can go in and you can watch TV, they got free snacks and a bathroom, and you can check out the Tesla swag that you can buy. It's also the service center at the moment. They are opening up another service center though. It'd be cool if you could go bowling, but looks like that bowling alley is closed. There is an AMW about a block or so down, and a KFC. And there's like a Chinese restaurant down the street. There's Astro Burgers. Kind of neat thing about the superchargers here is if they're full, I've never seen more than one person here. They've also got some high-powered wall chargers out front. Just kind of looking around the corner, and I noticed there are 2 Model X's waiting to be delivered. So I've been kind of...
Turn right onto East Truman Avenue.
So I'm going to Best Buy after this. And these are my directions. It's kind of interesting. While I was here waiting, I was playing with the Samsung VR. I'm going to swap this around. I'm testing out a Galaxy phone on another carrier from Wyoming, and they're letting me borrow this stuff. But it's kind of neat because you can sit back here and you can watch Netflix, Hulu off the Wi-Fi, and it's completely dark and it looks like it's a huge screen. Although you look kind of weird sitting in a car with these VR goggles on. I was trying to play some games, but I can't spin around inside the Tesla. So I was trying to play this game where you're like trapped in a room and you need to get out, but I couldn't turn around all the way inside the Tesla. So I was limited on what I could do. I'm trying to see here if there's comments. There should be like a live chat going on right now. I see that there's about 7 people watching. Please ask me any questions. If you have any questions about the Salt Lake City store and Supercharger, ask them now before I head out. And I could run around and show you. If you guys are interested, let me know. I'll run around and show you the Model X's that are out back. They're kind of behind a fence that's got those little things on in between the chain links, so you can't really see in there very well. But I bet this camera would. I bet it would, off the phone, would kind of show a little bit. It's interesting. I'm looking online to see this live streaming on Wirecast Go. I'm trying to see the chat on the stream, but I don't really see it. It's not showing any comments or anything. Oh, there we go. Yes, go to the Model X. What Model X am I, or what Model S am I driving? So I'm driving, all right, let's go. I'll explain my Model S on the way to go look at the Model X's. So I am driving an 85D, is what I'm driving. And I actually just got it fixed up. I had some hail damage done in the fall, and Dave's Body Shop fixed it up like new. Unfortunately, the roof was, they replaced like almost everything, all the paneling on the top of the car, and the roof was kind of squeaking over bumps, and I thought it was just because it was new and it would eventually go away, but it still ended up squeaking. So I ended up bringing it back for them to work on it, and they got it all fixed up, and they cleaned it up, and it looks like new again, which is really cool. So this is the store. It's pretty cool. You can see the chassis inside, pretty much like all the other Tesla stores. Somebody had mentioned on Twitter that they thought they saw a Model 3 chassis at the Hawthorne Supercharger. But it was confirmed later on by somebody on the TMC forums. It's a Roadster. A Roadster chassis, which looks way different than a Model S. And it's definitely not a Model 3. So I think they keep this area for all the Teslas that they work on or are getting ready for delivery. Like I said, the fence makes it hard to see, but when I get closer, hopefully I can put the camera in a little bit more. Alright, so this is the red Model X. It's really hard to see. There's the back end of it. There's a red one and a white one back there. I'm trying to focus. Sorry. Maybe if I go by really slow, you can kind of see in between the fence. So some lucky person here in Salt Lake is getting their Model X. In the white one, you can see the sticker in the window, and it says it's a P90D on this white Model X. It's kind of funny shooting through a hole in the fence. But it's like a big barbed wire fence. I don't know, maybe you can see it a little bit better through the barbed wire. Alright, pre-owned or new Model S. Which one should I go for, or should I wait for the new Model S? Well, if you want to, I got a coupon. You could pick up an inventory Model S. So that's a new Model S that you can still get the rebate on from the federal rebate. You can get the $1,200 installer credit, so you can get a charger installed in your house or your garage. And you usually get quite a few $1,000s off, and you can pick it up like almost immediately within a day or two. So I said that's the way I'd go right now if I were getting one, because the thing is with the certified pre-owns is they are no longer eligible for the tax credit of $7,500 and whatever tax incentives that you have on your state. They may or may not qualify depending on who previously owned them and which state they were registered in. And then I could get a chance to win a fully loaded P90D Model X. No, but seriously, wherever you can find a good deal and whatever features you want, that's the way I'd go. But keep in mind the federal tax credits, what you qualify for. They are going to go up in price on the Model S's here in April. This referral program ends April 15th. They've got the launch of the Model 3 coming out next Thursday. So I think everything's going to change like the end of the month on Thursday. They're probably going to release a 100 kilowatt battery. They might nix like the 70 or something. They're probably going to make the Model S's more expensive, so when the Model 3s come out, they don't compete so much with each other. They'll be in higher, or much different classes, my guess. I don't know. We'll see. So you're asking, will the price change? So new technology coming? Yeah, they're always updating the S. Like every other month, it seems like they're adding some little new feature. Right now with the Model S, the center console. I'll go ahead and show you the one in my car. I used the referral credits that I had to get some upgrades to my car. So right now I got the center console, which is kind of cool. It's messy right now. Just playing with this VR headset and stuff. Get some of this junk out of here. But I guess that's the whole point of it, is you can keep junk in here and you can kind of close it up so it looks nicer. So this is pretty cool. So this closes up. Oops. You gotta close the 12 volt. So yeah, so this looks a lot nicer than just a bunch of junk laying in the yacht floor that I had in here before. Anyways, this was like a $650 option. I used my Tesla credit to get it, and now it's a standard in all the new Model S's, and the Model X has something similar to it. The new one though it's flush. It's not a aftermarket like add-on thing. It's built. They replaced like the whole entire thing. I think. One really weird part is, even though it's installed by Tesla, they didn't wire it directly into the 12 volt. They've got the cell phone charger, and it's just like a cable that plugs in. So you lose one of your USB ports, which is a little disappointing. Also, if you have any kind of a thicker case, this does not work. The case from Tesla, I'll take it off. It's on my phone right now. It fits. So, well, shoot. Can I take it off? Okay, there we go. So this is the Tesla case. It works, and it even fits this little magnetic plate that I have, and this little whiz gear thing, so I can mount my phone when I'm using it if I'm not charging it. Sorry for the camera moving around so much. So there, that's how I'm shooting this video. I'm thinking I should move the mount up higher though, because I don't like people looking at my nose. You probably don't like looking at it either. All right, so man, a bunch of comments here. We got 13 viewers. Thanks for testing or tuning in for this live test stream. It's kind of fun. Oh yeah, the new technology changing. So what's the new technology coming? Like I said, they're already shipping the new Model S's with this center console, and they're probably going to do a 100 kilowatt battery soon, based on the badge that's hidden in the firmware. A lot of rumors saying they'll probably replace the nose cone on the front to make it look more like the X. That's a possibility. There's probably going to be an update to the Autopilot sensor suite for whatever they're going to be putting in the Model 3 at some point. But considering they just turned on the Autopilot like 4 or 5 months ago, I doubt it's going to be this year. I think it'll probably be closer to when the Model 3 comes out. So compared to the Model S to the X, does it look a lot bigger? Yes, they're sitting right next to each other. If you could see a little while ago, in between the fence posts, or gaps in the fence, it looks big. It looks really big. Like, it's not just a little bit bigger, it's a lot bigger. Some people argue they don't like the look of it because it kind of looks like a bloated Model S. Like, it's just kind of inflated and the dimensions don't look as slick. That's probably a fair assessment. I don't think it looks that bad, but it doesn't look quite as slick as the Model S. It does look like it's just a little bit chubby. Like, it's just got more volume to it. It's just bigger. I don't know the dimensions exactly, but it's definitely bigger. It looks like the Model S's big brother. Let's see. We got 13 people viewing. Keep asking questions, I'll keep answering. My S is almost charged. Let's see, what are we looking at here? So we are now 90 miles per hour charge rate. We got a range of 625 miles, and I'm charging at just 9 amps. And really, it's past the point that they recommend charging. If you're just daily charging, you want to charge at like your 90% or less. Basically, the way it's been explained to me is you don't want to leave your battery sitting at a full charge. That's how things blow up. The Tesla is not going to blow up because they've got management built in, so they've got liquid cooling and thermal management and all kinds of safety precautions. But I know, like, I have a 3DR drone, and they give you a little bag to put the batteries in when you're charging because they may blow up. And I've noticed I have left them charged for too long without using them, and they bloat over time. They don't blow up, but they kind of bloat a little bit. And I know the hoverboards that have been exploding, it's just an issue when you have that much energy and you're charged at the fullest capacity and you just leave it there. It's really bad. Or if you keep charging it after it's reached its peak charge rate, that's where you get to the point where it just blows up. So they're saying to maximize the battery life, if you're not going to be running it down, only charge it to 90%. And I do that at home. I keep it at 90%. And then if I'm on long trips like I am now, I'm going to be using it like immediately. So I can charge it up to full and I can run it down. It's kind of interesting. There's people doing like a little drive around looking at the car in the shop. This model, this Wirecast Pro is kind of weird. Or the Wirecast to Go, the app that I'm using to stream. I have to play around with it some more. So the stream still says 13 people watching. Ask me some questions. I've got 5 minutes left before I'm fully charged. And then I'm going to drive over to Best Buy. And I want you guys to tell me how audio sounds. How's the audio? Does this sound okay? Or do I need to hook up a mic system and a lavalier? I'm kind of surprised at how well the quality of the video looks on the iPhone. I think the light coming from the pano roof is kind of nice. I don't know if you guys have ever seen how it works, but it's kind of cool. So, let me show you here. You can just drag the sunroof itself to open it. Or you can just put on this side like to vent. Close. What else is cool here? There's this is air suspension, which I can't change because I'm charging, which it shows right here. Here's the automatic lowering speed, so if I'm going over 100 miles an hour, it will lower the car. I could probably put that down to like 60. Oops. Oh, thanks, Christopher, for saying the car looks nice and black. And there was one that was another car that I passed that was gray. So that's what the gray looked like. I'd probably go with gray. It's just a lot more. The black is like the base. So it's like, I think it's like $1,500 or $2,000 more to change the color. And at the time, I kind of wanted to get red, but I was already pushing it, and every little thing was like $2,000 more. I really spent a lot of time in my car, so I kind of wanted the premium audio. And it was like that or a different color. It's like, oh, I'd rather have the premium audio. And then like the rear facing child seats, I wanted those because I've got some nephews that hop in the car every once in a while. That was like $2,500. And the air suspension in Wyoming, I really thought I needed that because we got some really rough roads and I needed to be able to raise it in places. So I got that. That was like, I think it was like $2,000 or $2,500 or more. Might be $3,000. I can't remember. It was a lot. Oh yeah, so I was going to show you the cool summoning stuff. So these are your features for Autopilot, for the auto steer, the auto lane change, and the summon beta. It's cool, it's got a customized setting in it now. So you can set the bumper clearance, how close it gets to things, whether it's a tight fit, whether you want to turn on continuous press, so it only works when you're pressing the button on it, and the home link where auto opens and closes the garage door. And this works really well. It's a lot of fun. I've been using it. Actually, I can show you. I think the way this Wirecast works, I can show you a picture of it. Let me give that a shot. Here's where I parked. So, yeah, that's really close. Getting in and out was kind of impossible, so I used the summon to go in and out of that parking spot. But there was a charger, or there was a wall outlet there at my hotel. Not a very good one. It goes in and out a lot. I think it's on another circuit, and it keeps tripping. And it's only charging at a rate of 4 miles per hour. Although it did get like 50 miles overnight, which was handy. Last chance for questions. I'm charged enough because I'm not really gonna go anywhere right now. It says I got 5 minutes left. About 6 amps, 82 miles per hour range, charging 266 miles. It's interesting, I noticed in the summertime, if I've been fairly conservative driving, and I let it fully charge, it'll actually go up to, I think I had it say 280 once on what the range was. Right now it's around like between 275 and that area when it gets fully charged. So you'll see right up here it says relax. So when I'm in my Tesla charging, I have a preset where the steering wheel goes all the way in and the seats all the way back. And when I drive, I have my profile, so the seat automatically moves for driving, and the steering wheel comes out. Kind of fun. I don't know how well this is working for the chat. I don't see anything more. The last thing I see is the mention from Sleepy Mike about the gray car. This is kind of fun. Oh, let me show you some of the apps on the car, now that I think about it. So, a lot of people have written websites that work really well for the Model S. I really like this TeslaPage.com. It gives you news, and it gives you Tesla news, it gives you charging, and it does forums. Right now I'm working off the Tesla Wi-Fi, which doesn't have very strong range out into the parking lot. There's this cool video somebody posted of a Model X with a 360 camera, so you can do on like a VR headset type of thing and look at it. See what's going on in the forums. Thanks everybody for tuning in for the past half hour while I was charging. Could be kind of boring at times. kind of cool. It shows the weather. We got a forecast. Kind of weird time. You can do notes. There's also plug share, which is super handy if you're in an area that doesn't have a lot of Tesla chargers, such as Wyoming. I'm always updating this everywhere I find a location that I can charge at. Like, it doesn't matter if it's just like a regular outlet, but mostly RV parks, because they have the fastest charge rate outside of a regular level 2 charger, and actually faster than most regular level 2 chargers. They're only, I think they're only like 20 amps or so, most of them are, and I can get a 50 amp charger out of a RV park, or maybe they're 30 amps. Most of them are 30 amps, but I can get a 50 amp at an RV park. It gives me a little bit faster charging. So this is the plug share app. You can hit the GPS coordinates and it'll show you all the charging options around where you're at, which is pretty cool. And it'll give you the info about the area, directions how to get there. So right now I'm at the Salt Lake City Supercharger. There's 10 charging stations. People post reviews. I should check in because I'm here. If people are checked in, you'll know if other people are there or not. It's kind of cool. You can put how many volts and amps and everything you were able to charge at, and if there's anything else about it. So it also says right here on the dash, 706 miles per hour. It's 404 volts, 5 amps. I think it started out at 130 some amps. I can't recall. If it's completely empty, it's higher. I came here, I already had like 180 miles of range when I started. Interesting little story. It says here, don't go to this place at dark. I was here at dark, and I think somebody got hit on a bike or something. I don't know. I heard a car stop. Me and another guy here were charging at the Supercharger in another Tesla, and the car behind me in the road stopped and went over, and there was a guy lying on the ground next to his bike, and he was conscious. He was a little disoriented. This lady was trying to help him. We called the ambulance. They came and got him, but he doesn't think he was hit by a car, but he was kind of out of it. He probably was hit by another car, or he just fell over. We're not really sure, but I think somebody hit him. Hit and run. But luckily, I mean, he and the bike were okay. Just a little disoriented is all. So this will be interesting to see this feed. When I get back to the hotel and see how well it worked. I think I'm pretty much charged up here. Take a look. Still says 5 minutes. This is the longest 5 minutes ever. I think this 5 minutes has been going on for over 10 minutes. I got my laptop over here, and it's weird. I don't see this live stream. Normally I should see the live stream, and I should be able to be chatting on it, and I should see it. Oh, there it is. Yay. The longest 5 minutes ever. I think this 5 minutes has been going on for over 10 minutes. Hey, there I am. All right. Any more chatting going on? Am I just not seeing it? Or I'm sorry if you've been chatting with me and I haven't seen it. I'm just testing out this Wirecast Go app. Looks like We've got 16 people watching at one point in time. The longest somebody's been watching has been 6 minutes. It says the stream's in good health. I can insert slates or ads, which is very interesting. And I can open the live chat window. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I knew it. I knew I was getting more chatting. Okay, so now I see all your guys' questions. I'm sorry I kept asking if anybody was chatting. This Wirecast Go app is not updating them for whatever reason. I'm so jealous of that top view. Sleepy Mike. Are you talking about the panel roof or the Model X's huge windshield? Chris Fletcher, thanks for the Tesla videos. Keep making them. Hope to get a Model 3. Cool. I hope you get a Model 3 too. I hope they sell out instantly. I hope the web servers crash and people are all upset because they couldn't order enough of them. I hope they all of a sudden decide, you know what, there's so much demand on these things, we're going to have to make 5 more gigafactories ASAP. And I hope they expand the Supercharger network, because right now it's pretty crowded over there in California. And if you look at the map in California, it's full of Superchargers. And I need some Superchargers over in Wyoming. They're on the map for this year, but they were also on the map for last year, so I'm cautiously optimistic. Oh, so Sleepy Mike, you asked, please tell me, does the car have automatic parallel park assist or parallel parking assist? Yes, and it is awesome. I did a video on the Two Smart Guys channel a while back. It's amazing. The parallel park, it's kind of cool. You just kind of slow down to around 10 miles an hour and you drive in front of the car that you're going to park behind, and a little P pops up, you press it, and it zips in there like perfect. Like, it doesn't even really, I don't know how it calculates it, but it does it almost perfect, and it doesn't have to do any like recorrecting or anything. And it's a little bit scary how fast it does it. It's less than 30 seconds. I've seen demos at CES of other cars parallel parking, and they take a long time, and you have to monitor them, and you still have to control the braking, and you've got to still actually park it. This is like really fully automatic. It does everything, and it even unlocks the car and gets ready for you to get out. I wouldn't be surprised on the Model X if the doors don't open automatically, because that's an option on there. It also does what they call perpendicular parking now, and I actually use that a lot if I can. And that's where it's not parallel parking, but it's just like normal parking, like at a grocery store or whatever, where you got 2 cars side by side. You pull past the one, you hit it, and it backs you in, and that works really well too. What else? Let's see. So the audio sounds great. Cool. I'm glad. And the chat's lagging. Sorry about that. When I do this in the future, I'll do the same thing. I'll keep my laptop out. And in fact, if I can figure out, if you guys know how, if there's a way that I can get like a chat thing that'll automatically say it audibly, so if I'm doing this while driving, I can hear people chatting and then I can respond, which would be kind of cool. Because I got a long drive ahead of me. I've got to drive 1,000 miles down to Hawthorne here in a couple days. What are the 3 circles on your screen? So the chat was lagging. I imagine you're talking about the website that I was at. Let's see. What was that website? It was, yeah, I think they're showing the news from Teslarati. The Tesla portal. It's teslapage.com. That's the website that was showing. The Wi-Fi signal's like almost non-existent where I'm parked. I should probably disconnect. Anyways, those 3 circles, right there, just the time, the weather, and this is kind of cool. It'll show you photos of places nearby. I've actually never pressed this one. I guess this is information about where I'm at. And that is the Tesla stock, I guess. And notes. So that's kind of cool. You can also hide the guide and just do more of the news. Sleepy Mike says, all I can look forward to as a student is getting a used Tesla years from now. Well, you might be surprised. I bet you the very first generation Teslas, when all the new features come out, they're going to be relatively affordable in the future. Especially, you know, Model 3s when they become used. Because I bought a Volt 4 years ago, and they only wanted to give me for it in trade was like $12,000. So the Volt's a really good car too. It's very zippy for the price, and when it's in electric mode, which it is almost all the time in town, if you keep it charged up, it's a really nice car. All right, where are we at on our charge? We should be getting really close to finished. What is the name of the app that has the Tesla news you were looking at? Teslarati. Yeah, that was teslapage.com. Panorama roof. But yes, that one too. Oh, okay, cool. I'm sorry, the chat's really behind on where I'm talking. Apple in Dallas says you need more superchargers in Texas. Definitely. That looks very barren. And you know what? You guys have a lot more people there, so I hate to say it, but you probably need priority over there, over Wyoming. Although, you have nice weather there. We have really bad weather in Wyoming, so we really need to be able to charge, or people will literally die out stranded in the middle of nowhere without a charge. So you can freeze to death. I guess in Texas, I don't know if you got how wide open spaces you guys have in between chargers, but I guess you could like get dehydrated, overheat, or have heat stroke, which would also be very bad. So this is what my chat looks like, by the way. Okay, so what's the longest trip that you've done in your Model S? Do you get any range anxiety? Well, yeah. So I have over 30,000 miles on my Tesla, and I got it a year ago this weekend. So I drive it a lot. This stretch from Salt Lake City to my house is where the range anxiety comes in. If I'm driving in the summer, it wasn't that bad. I knew it was going to get bad in the winter, and this winter was rough. I make this trip about once a month. For whatever reason, I don't know, I'm always flying out of Salt Lake, or I have conferences in Las Vegas, and for some reason I'm always finding myself driving this road. So yeah, I think it's close to like 310 miles, something like that. Technically I could make it without a charge if I went super slow and was super careful about how I did it. I think I could do it if all the conditions were perfect. Unfortunately, the conditions are not perfect. It's super windy. The road speeds are very high, and the best way to, increase your range is to go slow. and there are a lot of 2-lane roads, so you get big trucks passing you, and it's kind of dangerous. And I can make it to Evanston, Wyoming, and I can charge up at a RV park next to a Mexican restaurant while I eat at the Mexican restaurant, and we can walk around, and there's a park there. So it takes about 2.5 hours to go from Salt Lake to Evanston, charge up in Evanston, and then take the back roads back home, which shaves off like 30 miles from taking the interstate. And then the back roads, I don't have to go 80 miles an hour. I can go 55 miles an hour, and I can make it home. And at the very least, I can make it to Lander, Wyoming, which is about 30 miles from my house, and charge at an RV park there. So it's kind of tough. My wife hates it. She's like, it takes twice as long to get home in this car, or longer. You know, it takes us like 10 hours to get home. When we take a normal car, it takes 5. So I've been begging. I email the Supercharger and the destination charger, because even if there were some destination chargers, that would cut it down in half or less. If there was one in like Rock Springs, Wyoming, or Evanston, it would help a lot. Luckily, over at Kimball Junction, which is about 30 miles from Salt Lake, they put in a Chadmo charger, and that helps a lot, because then I could top off there, and that'll save me about 40 minutes of waiting over in Evanston, because the RV charger only charges at about 30 miles an hour in Evanston. And there's Best Buy there and some things to do, so that's kind of cool. So yes, range anxiety. And my last trip that I had from here, I was pushing it. I was trying to make it all the way from Park City in the middle of the night. It was about 3 a.m. when I got close to home without charging, and I didn't make it. I got to Hudson, Wyoming, which is about 15 miles from my home. I saw I only had 10 miles of range left. It was about 5 below zero, and I called up Tesla. I found an outlet on the side of the post office, and I plugged in there, hoping I could wait an hour and get my extra 5 miles to make it home. But it was so cold, the car wasn't charging. It was using all the power to heat up the battery pack. So I was getting 0 miles of range, and it was just so cold I couldn't just wait in there. So they said they could send a tow truck out to get me, and I was like, well. And then they checked my my history, and they're saying based on how I had been driving for the past 30 miles, I could go 18 miles as long as there were no hills, and I left the heat off. So I gave it a shot. I was like, well, I know this one route that has less hills than the other, so I tried to make it home. And I made it really close, and then there was a big hill, and I forgot there was a hill there. And I think I had 4 miles of range left, and I went up to the top of the hill, had 0 miles of range left. And then I coasted down to the bottom of the hill. It told me to pull over. It was going to shut off. I let it roll down to a corner where there were some houses, and I instead of getting towed, I tried to charge it with a generator, because at this point I was only like 3 miles from my office where I had a generator. And so I had a friend come get me. We went and got the generator. We plugged it in, let the generator go overnight. But it was the same problem. It was below zero, and the 120 volt, I think it was like 10 amps, couldn't charge. It couldn't heat up the battery pack. So I got 0 range of miles added to it. And I let it go for like 10 hours, and I got nothing because it was so cold. So then we rented a 240 volt generator to try it out, and we actually had to make a special plug because of the ground. I looked up a video on YouTube on how to do it, but it wasn't a stable the power wasn't stable enough on the 240. It wasn't a clear sine wave generator, so that didn't work. It just wasn't charging. And so we literally pushed it over to a guy's house that was nearby that let me plug it in, and that didn't work either. And then we tried another generator from somebody else. It was a bigger one, but it was the same problem, that power wasn't stable enough to get a good charge out of it. And then we found out the guy had a 240 volt welder in his garage, and an electrician friend. I was just determined not to tow my car. I wanted to figure out a way to do it without towing it. I could have had it towed. So I had to make him I had an electrician friend make up a quick adapter for his wiring for his welder. Plugged it in. It was weird. It had like a little snowflake on it. It took about a half hour for the battery pack to heat up, and then bam, it started charging. And I was back on the road and good to go in about 45 minutes to make it to my real high-powered charger at work. And yeah, that was a trip because I should have been home at 2 a.m. and I didn't get back. I didn't get my car on the road until like 5 o'clock the next day, after fiddling with different ways of charging for like 4 hours. So that's my long story about running out of charge, and don't do it. I think it would have worked with the generators if you had like two Hondas that do the 240 volt, as long as they're the kind that don't have the large spikes and dips in the power and stuff. So let me check on the chat here. I'm still not done charging, by the way. It still says 5 minutes. I'm at 260 miles of range. It's taking forever to top this thing off. So Phil Gillette, the other part of your question was, I wish I could go to the Model 3 unveiling. What would be an expensive ticket from the UK? Did you win a ticket? I know they're not transferable, but they only invited like 300 people or less. Let's see, I think it was 800 people total, and it was like 300 people plus one, and then some press and things. Anyways, yeah, it's really hard to get invited. Sorry you can't go, but you can at least see it live, which is cool. Chris says thank you, Chris. Apple Dallas. It's like summer here in Dallas. Of course it is. It's nice today in Salt Lake. It was super cold yesterday, though. Russell says, thanks for taking the time to demo the subtle nuances of this phenomenal new car. Well, no problem. I can't stop talking about it. My wife's sick of it, so I got to talk to somebody about it. Would you consider getting a rumored upgrade version of the Model S, 100 kilowatt, to end range anxiety? Yes. In fact, they came out with a 90 version soon after I got mine. And I asked them, I was like, can I use my Tesla credit that I got, or can I buy or exchange the 90 kilowatt battery or the 85 kilowatt for the 90 kilowatt? Because even at like the 20 to 30 mile range extra would make a huge difference for me. It would save me an hour of charging at an RV park on my trips to Denver or Salt Lake. So I was like, please let me trade it in. Because when I ordered my Tesla, it showed on the map that we were going to have these superchargers, and they told me destination chargers were going to be installed last year, and they weren't. And it was getting close to winter, and I was really worried because I knew the RV parks were going to be closing for the winter. But they said it's like $24,000 to trade it in for the battery, and that's a lot of money. For that amount of money, what I could do, and what I've looked at doing, is actually renting or making an agreement and putting in my own high-powered wall chargers in Rock Springs and Evanston and like Laramie or Rollins. I actually posted something just on Craigslist about a couple weeks ago, asking if somebody, like, if I could rent it for $25 a month, and I could put the charger in there, and then they could charge other people like $10 a charge or whatever. No responses yet, so maybe that's not the best way of doing it. I've also gone around to all the hotels in Wyoming. Oh, the battery's charged. So it says charging complete, 269 miles. That doesn't look like it's all the way done to me. The bar is not there. Come on, fill it up. This is interesting. I wonder why it stopped. It's probably because I'm running the AC. was I? Oh yeah, so yeah, was I gonna get a 100 kilowatt battery? Or yeah, 100 kilowatt. That's where I might do it. If they come out with a 100 kilowatt upgrade at a reasonable price, I would probably look at swapping it. Because you can swap just the battery. The batteries come out. You don't have to buy a whole new car. Unless there was like a significant upgrade to the car. Although, I seriously looked into selling my car. And I still am considering it because right now the inventory on the pre-owned Autopilot like 85Ds, there's like almost none. There was only 2 of them, and they're going close to $100,000 right now, which is what I paid for mine. And I owe $75,000 on it right now. And if I could get somewhere in the $80,000 to $90,000 range, I would sell it. And I would order a Model X because I'm crazy. But if they had a 100 kilowatt version of the Model X, it would probably still only get similar range to what I have now, maybe a little bit better, but not much because of the size. But just because of what I do for work, it would be more convenient. I do a lot of tower sites and off-road stuff, and I can actually do a lot of it in the S, but it's kind of ridiculous taking a $100,000 car out on these big dirt roads and stuff. But yeah, so that's something I might consider. If anybody's interested in my car, I might consider that. Alright, so I'm going to look back here and see. Alright, so it says charging's done again. 269 miles. That's just the max it's going to let me do, apparently. I'm going to finish up these chats right now, and then if you want to stay with me, I'm going to drive over to Best Buy. And I'll use the Autopilot and stuff, and I won't be looking here, but when I get in the parking lot, I can answer any questions about the drive. Tesla is the best fully electric car out there. If they keep their sales on track, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw electric cars as a normal thing 5 years from now. You know what? Electric cars are a normal thing in certain places. Like here in Salt Lake, they've got chargers at the grocery stores, and I see Leafs all the time. Like they're all over the place. A lot of Leafs, a lot of Volts. Not so many i3s. I see a lot of Teslas, which is kind of cool. Over in Fort Collins, Colorado, tons of Leafs, tons of Teslas, and a lot of i3s. I see them all over the place. They're pretty common. 5 years from now, I wouldn't be surprised in certain areas if it tops the scale of 50% of cars. Now trucks, I think, are going to be gas guzzlers for a while, but that's the next car. I think they're going to do the Model 3 and then the Model Y, which may be another like a smaller SUV type thing, and then a truck. Unless the Y is going to be the truck. Probably not, but they're saying the Y would probably have the Falcon Wing doors, which would be really cool if it was a Falcon Wing door truck. We'll have to see what they end up doing. Oh yeah, so finish up on the chat before I take off here. Maybe the battery is cold. Oh, it probably is because the battery's cold. It's not super warm outside. It's probably not letting me go up to 270 because the battery's cold. You're right. You're absolutely right. I probably also degraded the battery a little bit because of how much I use it and how much I fully charge it. It might have dropped a couple of miles over the year of my total range, but I don't think so, because during a really warm week just about a few weeks ago, it was charging up to the 274. So I may have lost 1 mile this year of range. See, that sounds scary. I'm sorry, I don't know what I was saying when it was scary. Probably when I ran out and I had to push it over to a guy's house to charge it. And by the way, the Model S rolls really easy for a 5,000 pound car, or close to that. Me and my friend pushed it like it was nothing. Like it was easier to roll than a normal car, which is kind of crazy. The roll resistance is like nothing on this thing. We pushed it about half a block. Maybe more. Where can you see the Model 3 unveiling event? TeslaMotors.com. They'll be streaming it there at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, California time. What did you say to the hotels? Oh, so I cruised on up and I asked to speak to the general manager. I made a little flyer that I printed out. I can show you it right now, actually. I carry them with me for everywhere I go. And it's basically the destination charging website. And it's got a map on the back of all the current destination chargers. And basically it just says, there's these people that have these $100,000 cars and they stay where they can charge it. So if you want, you can attract more of these customers that have, pretty good amount of disposable income to your business if you put a charger out front. It doesn't cost you more than $1 or $2 to let them charge up. And if you want to, a lot of places will charge like $10 or $20 to use the amenities if they're not staying the night. So if somebody wanted to just charge it for a couple hours to get to another destination, they can go in and they can use the pool or the fitness area, the Wi-Fi. And that Tesla will put the charger in for free, and in some cases they'll even pay for the. I mean, they pay for the, I think $1,500 for the electrician, and they put in the charger. So it's kind of a cool thing to do, and it's free advertising. It puts you on a map, on the Tesla map. So far, I think all but one of the hotels seemed pretty interested and said they'd be contacting the destination charging team about it. There are 2 hotels that on my routes that I use that ended up putting them in, but not because of me. Unfortunately, they only put in 30 amp chargers instead of 40 amps instead of 80 amps. So they only charge about 30 miles an hour, which doesn't really help me any because the RV parks are actually faster, or at the same speed. So it's not great, but a little bit nicer place to hang out than an RV park. What else? So I mean, in Texas it's all trucks and SUVs, Priuses, yes. We hear predominantly gas guzzler culture. Yeah, Wyoming's the same way as Texas. It's an energy industry based state. And I think a lot of people probably hate my car. I think that they're out of work because of my car. And they're all mad because of these clean energy bills and things. They're going to change the way they produce coal and oil. And it's all good, but it's true. It is putting a lot of people out of work. So I was surprised that most of the hotels are receptive to putting in chargers. I thought I'd get more resistance. But the cool thing about Tesla and gas guzzling car enthusiasts is the fact that they make a car that's faster than most gas cars. So I think a lot of people are really impressed by the performance of the Tesla, and they don't care that it runs on electricity. They just think it's really cool that it's a fast car. Model X is promising because it can tow, and our Model X is really promising. So I mean, it's not going to be too hard for them to make a truck. They're going to slam 2 battery packs in that bad boy, and you put it in a truck. You're good to go. What else? Dallas Fort Worth, you see a lot of Teslas. That's cool. That's cool. At the best, you've confirmed that no matter the minor inconveniences, getting a Tesla is worth every penny. I agree. I see it that way. I don't care. I mean, even if it makes my trip like twice as long, I still love driving the Tesla. It's so cool. It drives itself. I mean, when you're driving and you're on a long straightaway or whatever, and it's driving itself, and especially in Wyoming where there's the really heavy winds and you're normally having to hug and fight the wind because of the weight. I think it's partially because of the weight of the car and the fact that it's driving itself. You don't have to like have a death grip on the steering wheel. It's way more relaxing. And I can drive way longer in a day before I get tired in the Tesla. I know you're not supposed to be like texting or reading emails and things like that, but you can glance, at little things, and you can turn on a lot of automation. You can use Siri or voice activated services, and you can listen to like audiobooks and things, and it's really nice. And then even when you're waiting to charge, hang out. Like right now, this is cool. I'm talking with you guys. I've got over a dozen people here that I get to chat with and hang out with, and that are excited about Tesla. That's cool. That's really cool. I've been charged here now for 20 minutes. I should just take off, but I wanted to get through the questions first. Almost done. Do you use the range mode? Yes, I use range mode, and it helps. It basically just lets you not use as much air conditioning, and it allows the torque mode where it shuts down one of the motors on the interstates, or once you're kind of get up to speed and you're going for a while, it can shut off one of the motors. It does. It gives you 10 to 20 miles more range, I'd say. It works. But in the cold, it's not good enough for keeping you warm. So if you want to stay warm and you have it in range mode and it's below zero, it doesn't cut the mustard. You got to dress in a snowsuit. I haven't gone that far yet, but I do wear thermal. I'll wear thermal underwear and gloves, and if I'm trying to make this long trip part, and I'll bring a blanket, and yeah. So range mode helps a lot in the summertime. It's not as useful in the winter if you want to stay warm. All right, Russell Allen. I live in the Bronx, New York, and have plenty of charging choices and can hardly wait to be a Tesla owner. That is awesome. I am trying like crazy to meet with like the tourism and the Department of Transportation in Wyoming to put in electric vehicle chargers. Not necessarily Tesla chargers, but it'd be awesome if they'd put some CHAdeMOs in, or even some really high-powered level 2 chargers at all the rest stops in Wyoming. And, put solar panels on them. I don't care how it gets charged, or I'll even pay for it personally, because I think all these people in Utah and in Colorado and even in Montana, there's a lot of people that have electric cars that aren't going to be able to go through Yellowstone or to there's a lot of places in Wyoming that are kind of made for tourism. You can't get there in an electric car, a normal electric car at all, if it's not a Tesla. The only way you can do it is if you're in a Tesla, and even then, like I said, you got to use RV parks. So, and if it's bad weather and people aren't used to how to really hypermile in a Tesla, you could be stuck on the side of the road, and in really bad weather conditions that pop up like really without notice, somebody could get hurt. So I think it's kind of a safety thing. It would be really good if they put some chargers like anywhere. There are no public chargers in Wyoming right now at all. So I think there's like 2 in the front of Yellowstone entrance, and that's it. Tesla is taking over densely populated cities first. That's no surprise. Makes sense. I can't argue that. It's good to put them where there's more people. I can't argue that it'd be nice to be able to go more places. If you could at least put a few, and I don't even care if they're the high-powered wall chargers, that would be enough. I would be perfectly happy having to wait just an hour instead of having to wait 2 hours on my trips. That would be cool. Or especially if they're in a nicer area that I could actually go do something like buy a movie theater would be cool. Or even restaurants. I have a foldable bike that I keep in the trunk on my trips by myself, and I will take that out and I'll ride it around. I'll ride it down to the mall or wherever. Does the wind try and push the car when it's lowered as much? I don't feel that the wind really pushes the car that much, but it is. I don't know. I haven't really tested like lowering it and raising it on the interstate. It always goes to low, the low setting. It doesn't go to the extremely low, but it goes to the low. It's a good question. Just now having to spend for tune-up oil changes and all the other maintenance and having to use gas, performance of the car. That's why there's not a lot of love about Tesla. So, I don't know. Tesla was really trying to push that. You'd save a lot of money not having to do maintenance on the car. Having it for a year, I've had a lot of maintenance done on it. my wife would argue with you that it's way more high maintenance than a normal car. But that's part of being an early adopter and being on the bleeding edge. I got one of the first 85Ds off the line, the non-performance ones. I think mine would have been the first, at least in where I picked it up in Las Vegas. And it died 2 weeks after I got it. One of the drive motors on the front came disconnected, and they had to tow it to Denver to get it fixed. And Tesla was super awesome about it. They towed it overnight and fixed it overnight, and they gave me a rental. I was going to Denver anyways. I got to pick it up the next day. It was good to go. Unfortunately, they forgot to put the cover on the bottom of it right. So on one of my return trips, I had to have them replace the cover. But the cover on the bottom kept falling off and dragging on the road, and it was horrible. It would happen with the wind in Wyoming. Pick up and it'd pull it down. I ended up tying it on, but it ripped up the bottom of that cover, and so that was the first 2 maintenances I had done on it. And then there was some wind noise coming through one of the windows. I've been trying to have that fixed, but it still whistles a little bit. Like when it's super windy, I'm afraid it's just how the car's designed because there's no frame on the windows. I don't know if there's anything I can do about it. And if you're listening to music, it's not a big deal, but for an expensive car, it'd be nice if it didn't have any issues at all. And then I had this issue with I took it in to get everything upgraded. I got the LTE upgrade, the annual service already done halfway through the year because I put so many miles on it. I got the weather mats and the center console put in, but that's not really maintenance. Well, I guess I had the service done at the same time, so that was one trip. And then this last one was I had hail damage and I had to have it repaired. But that would have happened to any car, being in a bad hailstorm. So I don't know. It seems like it's been in a lot, but really it's only ever actually had one real problem, and it was like off the line. And since then there's been no major problems. But yeah, the service is kind of expensive. It's like $600 for the year. But it's not necessary, which is kind of weird. It's like, it's optional. But yeah, nobody can work on them, and I think that's what kind of pisses people off. Tesla's, right now, the way they explained it at the conference I went to was, they're under such scrutiny that if one person accidentally electrocutes himself or blows up the car while working on it, that could kill electric cars, like, permanently. Like, Fisker had a real bad problem with that, and even the Volt and some Teslas, they've had some issues with the batteries catching fire. Luckily, nobody's ever been hurt that I know of, but they got to be really careful about that, and they want to make sure that everybody's properly trained. And they said they'll eventually get that information out to customers so they can do work on their own cars, or limited amount of work, but they want to really lock it down. If you're not a grease monkey like me, I can see how owning a car can be super expensive. Yeah, that's true. All right, so my car's been charged. Thank you for tuning in. It's been like an hour and 15 minutes now. I am going to go to Best Buy. If you want to stay with me, that's cool. If you got any more questions, I'll answer them when I park at Best Buy. Closes, which I guess is something they added when they did the upgrade to the 85Ds or the dual motor Teslas. I need to bring more something to drink. Talking for an hour is like makes you thirsty.
You have entered a dead-end street. Please make a U-turn. You have entered a dead-end street. Please make a U-turn.
The navigation system is awesome, having a big screen and this huge navigation, but it's kind of a step behind what Google, Waze, even Apple Maps is doing in terms of how well it works. You can pair your phone with Bluetooth
Now turn right onto East Truman Avenue.
and use that instead. A lot of people do that, but I don't know. This
Now turn right
works pretty
onto
good.
East Burton Avenue. In 0.1 miles, turn right onto South Main Street.
It's pretty cool. You can do the voice activation and say like, how do I get to Disneyland? Or and it'll give you directions and it'll route you through the superchargers.
Now turn right onto South Main Street.
My wife doesn't like how much it talks, and in fact, most of the time we just turn off the audio. I kind of like it though, because I get sidetracked and I forget what turn I'm supposed to do, and it says it a lot. Alright, so we're kicking on autopilot now. We're not going very far, we're only going a couple blocks. Maybe if I can figure out eventually how to mount a secondary camera on this thing, I can show you guys the road and how it's working.
In 0.2 miles, turn left into your designated road, West 2100 South.
So it detected the speed limit. I have it set to go 2 miles over, so it's a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. It's going 35 miles an hour. I had to hit the brakes because I got to turn.
Now turn left onto West 2100 South.
I'm out of autopilot. I'm just driving like normal now. Man, I could have walked to this Best Buy. It's pretty close. Next time I'll do that when I'm charging. I'll just walk over to Best Buy.
You are approaching your destination.
So I'm back on autopilot again. Really close to the Best Buy. Speed limit's 30, it's going 32.
In 0.1 miles, you will reach your destination. Your destination, 261 West 2100 South, is on the left.
Weird, there's a turn in that says it's for buses only. Huh.
You have reached your destination.
So I'm going out of autopilot because I gotta make another turn. It'd be really cool if the autopilot was linked to the navigation. That way it would know about which lanes to be in for certain things, and I don't know, just maybe be a little bit more aware, but it doesn't seem to be tied together at the moment. I don't know, maybe it is, but it doesn't seem like it. This Best Buy looks like it's closed. So much for that idea. There's a bicycle store, mattress deals, impact guns. I forgot, I'm in Utah, and a lot of the Mormon stores close on Sundays, like Chick-fil-A. I bet that's the case for Best Buy, or they don't open till later or at all. It says 11 to 8 o'clock are their store hours on Sunday. Maybe they're closed because it's Easter. I forgot it's Easter. Well, I think I'll check out this bicycle store. The folding bike I got right now, I'll have to show it sometime. It's kind of cool, but it's kind of big. Like, and the case that it came with it broke, so I need a new case if they've got one. It'd be nice to get a smaller one that folds up a little bit more. All right, check the chat, and I'm gonna head out. So. Really surprised to hear what maintenance could it be. There's no engine. Well, tires, alignment, the coolant for the battery, windshield washer fluid. There's a bunch of automatic things on this car, and they go out. Oh, there was one more time I had to take it in. The handle wouldn't go out. It was stuck in on the driver's side. so they had to replace that. They had to grease up the panel roof. It was kind of stuttering, so it needed lubricated. What else? I guess the shocks, air suspension, just random creakingness, things that might need tightened down. Most of the stuff software, the auto updates, you get those about every other week. And it's so cool. They add new features all the time. And it's something to look forward to. I'm always wondering what's the next thing that they can do. And they came out with Summon, which they said they were going to do, but then the next update, to make it even cooler, they gave you more options on it to fine tune it, and there's supposedly another big update coming up after they do the Model 3 announcement. It'd be interesting to see if you can train the Summon to make corners and go around the front of your house and stuff. If they're going to release the Snake Charger for auto charging, or if they're going to do their own wireless charger, which I don't think they're going to do, but Plugless is doing one. Sounds better than having to deal with fluids, gaskets, oils, emissions, and that. Like, yeah, there's a lot less. So that's cool. Most of these little things that are maintenance, they won't prevent your car from working. Like, you can still get to where you need to go. I hear that the 12-volt battery in this thing, the way they have it set up in the car, it wears out about once a year, which is kind of a drag. It's a little one, and it's always being charged from the bigger battery. And I guess the cycling or whatever just wears them out, and they just flat out replace it at maintenance, on the annual maintenance. The fob batteries, they replace those. They just make sure everything's perfect. Like, it's like new every year. It's kind of like a refresh, just to kind of make sure everything's good. Okay, hour and a half talking. Thank you for tuning in, keeping me company, and not being bored. Please subscribe to the channel, Tesla Trip. Also check out the Two Smart Guys channel. I got a drone video that I'm editing right now on the new Phantom 4, and we'll be doing some more videos on hacking electronics and things on that. This Tesla Trip podcast, I'm gonna do more of these streaming things. I don't know, maybe I'll schedule them out or whatever. I'm actually making a trip. That was my intent of this channel, is I've been doing these videos when I do trips of kind of like little mini reviews of the Supercharger areas. So I think that's what I'll do, is I'll have these live videos and question answer sessions, and please subscribe. See you guys later. Thanks. If it can stop. Stop.